More and more celebrity DJs are taking up residency here in Atlantic City, proving that this 24-hour party town has some appeal. Chelsea's resident DJ and promoter DJ Ahmed visited us at our One Atlantic studio and offered some advice for people trying to break into the business. We're broadcasting at One Atlantic Events, which is a beautiful event center located at the Pier Shops at Caesars, overlooking the ocean. In fact, it's the only event center that overlooks the ocean and the boardwalk, the casinos, the people. It's so much fun here. So if you have an event, definitely check out One Atlantic Events. On today's show, we have a special guest, which we've seen before, is our resident DJ expert, DJ Ahmed Khan, and he's going to talk to us about getting a DJ job in Atlantic City and some other really cool facts that I bet you didn't know about. Thank you for coming on the show again, Ahmed.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about being a DJ. First of all, we learned that you're a DJ in a few of the nightclubs here. You've been DJing for many years. How does someone get a gig in a nightclub?
First, you have to become proficient at DJing. You have to develop your repertoire of the types of music and songs that you're going to play. And that kind of has to be in sync with what the crowd wants to hear.
Right.
So once you get the fundamentals of that part down, you can get into nightclubs in two different ways, usually. Some nightclubs are promoter-driven. And so what happens is promoters contract with the nightclub to do a promotion.
Okay.
And they bring in their DJ as a part of the night.
Ah, that's interesting.
And so a lot of the Euro night themed parties operate that way. Some of the hip-hop parties operate that way. And so that's kind of neat because you get a chance to work at a lot of different clubs depending on the promotions that you're running with different venues.
And you work with certain promoters, and then that promoter will go to a club and say, hey, I could bring X amount of people to the club, but I need to have my DJ that night.
Exactly.
And then they pull you in.
And what ends up happening as well is the promoter starts to build a following. And so the crowd will follow a DJ from one venue to the next to the next.
That's interesting.
So that's definitely a selling point for a lot of different clubs in the city.
Yeah.
A second way that you can get into the DJ game here in Atlantic City is by contacting the entertainment departments of each of the casinos. A lot of them operate the casinos. The casinos operate the nightclubs directly. So probably the best way is find out who the director of entertainment is.
Okay.
Some of them have directors of nightlife. You can make an audio recording, CD usually, with the type of music that you play, and maybe a little portfolio, a picture of you. Okay. And maybe a little biography, and then contact the office and see if they've had a chance to listen to what you play.
How long of a track should it be?
It's tough because it also involves a certain level of networking. Okay. So you go through the process of sending the demos to all of the entertainment directors, but if you know someone who's pretty popular in the area, like yourself, for example, it helps to have a little bit of an in that way.
Right.
And the average CD lasts about 78, 79 minutes.
Okay.
Most folks don't have the time to listen to all of that. But
they
sometimes,
get an idea.
Yeah, they get a pretty good feel of listening to it for the first, few minutes or whatever.
Right. That's so cool. So basically, you can either go through the casino or you could go through a promoter.
Those are the two most common ways. The third way is if you produce music. And so you're a record producer, a record remixer. Those are some of the more popular DJs, not just in Atlantic City, but internationally. Guys like Avicii,
right.
Bob Sinclair, David Guetta. Those folks get contracted to come in, Tiesto, and they make lots of money doing that.
And they have thousands of people come to see them.
But some of them aren't even remixers. Some of them are just famous people, like Pauly D, for example,
right.
from Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Has a once-a-month residency over at the Harris Pool,
yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. So there are a few different ways to get in. I think persistence is pretty important. And that's usually the way to get in.
Right, network, good. One of the things you brought up was residency. What's the difference between a resident DJ and someone who just wants to DJ for a couple nights?
Resident DJs are contracted usually on a weekly basis, but occasionally on a monthly basis to show up and DJ at a club. So if you are the regular Thursday night DJ at the Providence nightclub, then you are considered the resident.
Oh,
and so what happens is when they bring in guest DJs to perform, you would open the night, you'd play for the first hour or so, and then when the headliner was scheduled to go, you would step aside and they would step up to the decks.
But that's cool though, because you're still the main person.
Yeah, you're usually most clubs feature you in a lot of their advertising. Sometimes on billboards you'll see the resident DJs get some airtime. Also in print ads, you'll see the resident DJs usually get a lot of mention.
That's cool. How does it work as far as cover when you're going to these clubs? Because sometimes I notice even when you're putting out things, it's no cover. Sometimes it's like $5 or $10 cover. And then there's guest lists. Tell us about that.
Average cover charge at nightclubs on Fridays and Saturdays is usually around $20 per person.
Okay, even for females?
Sometimes females they'll let in for free. I know the federal law says you're not supposed to discriminate between men and women, but what the casino clubs have found, and other nightclubs in the city, is that where the women go, the men follow.
Right.
And so typically, if they can get more women in the nightclub early, the men will follow, and the night will become popular. The men will spend money in an effort to try to buy drinks for the women, and the night just kind of flows from there. What a lot of the clubs do as well is they offer guest lists with the understanding that you'll buy an entire bottle of liquor, what we call bottle service. It originated in Europe and got very popular here in the United States about 5-7 years ago. So essentially you say that you're going to buy a bottle of vodka or a bottle of whiskey. They'll charge you somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 to $350 for it.
Right.
You get usually about 17 or 18 drinks out of it, but you get preferential seating, you get VIP status, there's no cover charge associated with that.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes it becomes a numbers game. If you show up with some friends at the club, it's like,
Right.
okay, $20 a person, there's 6 of us, it's $120 for cover, maybe we'll each buy a drink at, you know, $7, $10 a piece.
Right.
You know, maybe we should just get the bottle and
More cost effective.
And there's also a status to the VIP
Yeah.
and the bottle service lines. So usually the way that you get on is that you call the nightclub. They have daytime phone numbers, and then you can say that you'd like to get on the VIP list. I guess another way you could do it is through the promoters themselves. Sometimes they have their own lists.
Right.
And so if you can get on the promoters list, that usually gets you complimentary.
Find out promoters and, you know, find out how to get on the guest list. I mean, I think it should be something easy. And if someone wanted to get on your list, what is your website?
www.djahmedkhan.com, AHMEDKHAN.
Go to our website to find out more information about DJ Ahmed Khan.